So the best Christmas stories are the ones where the perfect gift is given or received. And Mississippi has some great examples. Now, Mississippi may have its problems, but a lack of generosity is certainly not one of them. They call us the hospitality state, but the generosity state may be more accurate, unless you work in politics. Here are 3 of my favorite Mississippi Christmas stories that give a glimpse into our spirit of giving. Number 3, Mississippi's first Christmas tree. As late as the mid-1800s, Christmas trees were not an American tradition. You would see them over in Germany, but here they were considered to be a pagan symbol, and you never ever saw them in American homes. But in December of 1851, a woman named Mahala Roach of Depot Street in Vicksburg decided that it was time for the custom to come to the Magnolia State. Ignoring the stares of her neighbor, she cut down her first evergreen tree, brought it into her house, and proudly displayed and decorated it. She'd read of the tradition in Germany, and she understood it to be one that was rooted in love and warmth, and that was something that she wanted her children and the children of her community to experience. Her gift to the kids paid off. Word spread very quickly, and with it, the tradition. And now, it's one of Mississippi's proudest. Mahala's Christmas gift to the Magnolia State. Number 2, the gift of life. Back in December of 2019, a New Albany man named Sandy Bird got the news that nobody ever wants to hear. He had cancer, specifically a melanoma in his liver, and this was the type of cancer you didn't get better from. You only got better from this one if you got a new liver, and to do that, he'd need a Christmas miracle. But when you have friends in Mississippi, it seems that miracles tend to happen a lot more often. Bird had such a friend, Sergeant Gary Stanton of the Mississippi Highway Patrol. The 2 men had grown up together. They'd stayed part of each other's lives, even playing parts in each other's weddings. And when Stanton heard that his good friend needed help, well, he decided to give the Christmas gift that only he could. 60% of Sergeant Stanton's liver was taken that day and given to his friend Bird, who, after recovering from the surgery, was declared cancer-free, the result of a Christmas gift given by the truest of friends. And number 1, the Hattiesburg delivery. This story, told by a man named James Dixon, took place on an unusually warm day just before Christmas in Hattiesburg. Dixon was home from college, and he'd been making a little extra money on the side, dressing as Santa to deliver gifts around town for his neighbors. But it was his last call of the day that became this story. A local elementary school teacher called him, asking if he had time to make one more delivery that day. But, she warned him, don't bring his car, bring a truck. Dixon was confused, but he obliged, borrowing his dad's truck and even picking up a buddy to help, who, to his credit, agreed to put on a reindeer costume to help complete the illusion. Both sweating buckets underneath those costumes, they pulled up to the elementary teacher's house, and outside they saw a mountain of gifts. As it turned out, there was a local family who'd recently had a house fire, and they'd lost everything. Everything. They were lucky enough to find another place to stay, but it looked like Christmas just wasn't in the books for them this year. But this teacher put out the word, and Hattiesburg responded in force. And so, just a little while later, Santa and his reindeer, driving a pickup truck, pulled up to the house and began to unload. The kids saw them from the window and raced outside, so excited that their feet were barely touching the ground. But it was the father's reaction that almost broke Dixon. The man had been preparing his family for a Christmas with no gifts. They knew to expect a tree that would be empty that year. But seeing what this community of neighbors and strangers had done for his family unexpectedly, the man was speechless. All he could do without breaking down was to ask Santa over and over again where the gifts had come from. Santa, to his credit, would only say the North Pole. The kids were satisfied with the answer, but the father understood that while the fire had taken everything from them, Mississippians just wouldn't let that stand. Comedian Bob Hope once said, "My idea of Christmas, whether old-fashioned or modern, is simply loving others. Come to think of it, why do we wait for Christmas to do that?" And one of the reasons that I love Mississippi is because they don't.